Hey everyone and welcome. As mechanical engineers, you're already masters of forces, materials, and motion. But what if I told you that you could learn to predict the future? Today, we're going to add an incredibly powerful new tool to your engineering skill set, the ability to see failures before they even happen. Let's dive right in.
Just think about that for a second. How is it possible? How do modern factories know that a critical bearing is about to fail, days before it actually breaks down and stops the whole production line? And how can we solve some of these super complex engineering problems without having to derive pages and pages of equations?
Well, the answer isn't magic. It's data. And this is exactly where artificial intelligence, or AI, and its partner, machine learning, or ML, are completely changing the game, transforming how we design, monitor, and maintain the very mechanical systems that make our world go round. So, here's our game plan. We're going to cover everything you need to hit the ground running. First, we'll talk about why this stuff really matters for your career. Then, we'll decode all those acronyms. We'll look at how machines actually learn, introduce you to your new best friend, the Python programming language, and finally, we'll walk through exactly how you get from a real-world problem to a solid prediction.
All right, let's kick things off with the big question. Why should you, as a future mechanical engineer, actually care about any of this? I mean, isn't this stuff just for computer scientists? Well, let me tell you, not anymore.
The truth is, AI and machine learning are completely revolutionizing our field. We're talking about smart manufacturing floors that literally optimize themselves. We're talking about intelligent vehicle systems and using massive amounts of data to design better, stronger, more efficient products. It's all about automating complex tasks, optimizing performance, and building simulations that can predict outcomes with just unbelievable accuracy. Honestly, this is the future of engineering.
Okay, let's talk about the terminology. You're going to hear the terms AI, ML, and DL, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, thrown around a lot. Now, they might sound intimidating, but I promise you, the core ideas are actually super intuitive. Let's break them down.
First up is artificial intelligence, AI. This is the big overarching concept. The simplest way to think about it is just the main goal, to create a machine that can do things that would normally require human intelligence. You know, things like solving problems, making decisions, or even just understanding the world around it.
A perfect example of AI in action. Think about an autonomous robot zipping around a busy warehouse. It has to see its environment, make smart decisions on the fly, and then act on them. It's basically mimicking exactly what a human worker would do.
So, if AI is the big goal, then machine learning, or ML, is how we often get there. ML is a piece of AI, and here's the key idea. Instead of writing thousands of lines of code with explicit step-by-step instructions for every possible scenario, we just give the machine a whole lot of data and we let it figure out the patterns all by itself. It literally learns from experience, just like we do.
Think about it like this. Let's say you've got months and months of vibration data from a big industrial motor. A machine learning model can sift through all those subtle patterns and learn to predict when a bearing is about to fail. You never wrote a rule that said, if the vibration looks like this, then it's going to fail. Nope. The model learned that relationship entirely on its own, straight from the data.
Now, let's go one level deeper. We've got deep learning, or DL. This is a specialized and really powerful type of machine learning. It uses something called neural networks, which are kind of inspired by the human brain, to find extremely complex patterns in data. This is the tech you pull out for the really tough problems, like understanding images, sound, or super noisy sensor signals.
A perfect industrial example is quality control on an assembly line. A deep learning model can watch a live video feed from a welding robot and instantly spot tiny little defects that a human eye would almost certainly miss. It's basically learning to see and understand the visual difference between a good weld and a bad one. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so we know machines can learn from data. But how exactly do they learn? Well, it turns out there are three main styles, or approaches, to machine learning, and choosing the right one really just depends on the kind of data you have and the problem you're trying to solve.
So this diagram here lays it out perfectly. You can think of these as three different teaching styles. Over on the left, we've got supervised learning, which is like teaching with an answer key. In the middle is unsupervised learning, where you tell the machine to just go find interesting patterns on its own. And on the right, there's reinforcement learning, which is all about learning from trial and error. Let's dig into when you'd use each one.
Knowing when to use each of these is absolutely crucial. So first up, supervised learning.
You use this when you have labeled data, which just means you already know the right answers from the past. For instance, you have historical data of engine parameters, and you know exactly how many hours each engine ran before it failed. You can use that to train a model to predict the remaining useful life of a new engine. Next, we have unsupervised learning. This is what you use when you just have a big pile of unlabeled data and you're hoping to find some hidden structures or patterns. A great ME example is feeding a model a bunch of vibration signals from a machine and having it automatically group them to identify the machine's different operating states without you telling it what they are beforehand. And finally, there's reinforcement learning. This is all about teaching an agent through trial and error with rewards and punishments. Think of training a robotic arm the most efficient sequence to assemble a part by giving it a little reward for every correct move it makes.
So right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but how in the world do I actually do any of it? Well, don't worry, you absolutely do not need to be a computer science genius. We have a tool that is perfect for engineers, and its name is Python.
There's a really good reason Python has become the go-to language for this stuff. First, it's just plain simple. The code often reads just like the pseudocode you'd scribble down in a notebook to plan out a calculation. Second, it has this massive ecosystem of free libraries. Think of them as pre-built toolkits for doing math, analyzing data, and machine learning. And third, it's the industry standard. I mean, huge companies like NASA, Tesla, and Boeing are using Python to solve their biggest engineering challenges every single day.
So, you can think of these libraries as your new digital toolkit. NumPy is basically your super-powered calculator for all the heavy-duty math. Pandas is like Excel on steroids. It's for organizing and cleaning up all your data. Matplotlib is your virtual graph paper for making all sorts of plots and charts. And Scikit-learn, well, that's where the real magic is. It's a toolbox packed with ready-to-use machine learning models. You don't have to build them from scratch.
All right, theory's great, but let's make this real. We're going to take a fundamental mechanical engineering concept, something you all know, calculating stress, and see how we tackle it using our new Python toolkit. This is going to show you just how simple and intuitive this can all be.
We're just going to follow a simple, logical process. Step 1, we start with the physics we already know, like the back of our hand. Stress equals force over area. Easy enough? Step 2, we define our input data in Python, our loads and our area. Step 3, we write just a single line of code to do that calculation across all of our data points at once. And finally, step 4, we use a couple lines of code from Matplotlib to instantly create a nice plot of our results. See? It's that straightforward.
Now, for a simple problem like a bar under tension, our classic stress equals force over area formula is absolutely perfect. But what if you're dealing with a complex 3D printed lattice structure or a composite material with weird nonlinear properties? Suddenly, there's no simple equation. This is where machine learning becomes your superpower. It doesn't need a perfect formula. It can learn those incredibly complex relationships between inputs and outputs directly from your experimental or simulation data.
So how do you actually use this superpower? You follow a clear, repeatable, 5-step engineering workflow. Number 1, define the engineering problem. What question are you actually trying to answer? Number 2, get your data ready. This is so critical. 3, pick the right model for the job. 4, train your model and then check how accurate it is. And finally, number 5, you deploy it and put it to work making real-world predictions.
So, let's wrap it all up. Here are the key things I want you to walk away with. First, AI, ML, and DL are no longer just science fiction. They are practical, powerful tools for you as an engineer. Second, the 3 types of learning, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement, give us different ways to tackle different problems. Third, Python and its amazing libraries give us an easy, accessible way to actually build these solutions. And finally, remember that you always have a structured 5-step workflow to guide you from question to answer.
Look, the whole goal here was to give you a solid foundation, a starting point. After watching this, you should feel a lot more confident that you understand the core ideas and can start to see where these tools could fit into your own work as an engineer. And remember, the absolute best way to learn is by doing. So now, it's your turn. Open up the lab files and try the practice problems step by step. You've totally got this.